Settling with the debt collector when you're sued for debt. Brought to you by Kenneth Chabert at yourlegallegup.com. Your advantage if you're being sued by debt collectors. I mentioned settling with the debt collector at various times throughout my videos and other materials. But such a simple term and concept can mean different things, very different things. Should you settle with the debt collector? When? And for what terms? A little background to set the table might help. Let's start with settlement as defeat. When people first receive notice of suit by a debt collector, their reaction is often panic. Many, and perhaps even most defendants, call up the debt collector and try to settle the suit at that time. I'm sure all of them are tempted to. And they usually offer all or nearly all of the money demanded by the suit in exchange for time to make the payments. Call that terms. To trade hard cash for soft terms is not an effective bargain. In reality, this is a fear-driven attempt to delay disaster. Right? You know that's true. Such a settlement is basically a defeat. The debt collector gets all of the judgment it hoped to get, plus an agreement to pay, and often information vital to its collection efforts. And if you miss a payment, it can and will initiate garnishment the very next day. And so in reality, the consumer's attempt to delay collection has actually hastened it, hurried it along. Plus, there's often a judgment entered against the consumer, further damaging their credit report and life prospects. It's just a disaster to the consumer. Now let's consider settlement as compromise. If you fight even a little bit, you change the terms of any agreement with the debt collector dramatically. In the first place, by the time you've answered and begun to fight, 2 months will have passed, and the debt collector will be looking at the prospect of spending time and money over the course of the next several months to try to win the case. And it could always lose. No matter how good the case looks, you can always lose. The further into the litigation you go, the more you develop a sense of what the debt collector can or cannot prove. If you become convinced that the debt collector cannot win, and especially if you have a counterclaim, then you will want to consider the next section, settlement as victory. But if you are left uncertain, or even if it looks pretty clear that the debt collector will win, you are still in a position to argue for a significant reduction of the dollar demand of the suit plus terms. You should do this, and it will probably accomplish both goals, even where it looks really bad for you. Why would they settle like that if they know they can win? Because you have demonstrated that you will fight. It will cost them money to fight you, and they never know for sure if they can actually get you to pay them in the end if they win. Collecting is hard, and in these cases, the debt collector rarely collects much of the judgment, I'm sure. When you fight, you present them the chance that they will actually lose and the certainty that they will spend money and time they could spend more profitably suing someone else. So they'll almost always settle as an actual compromise, as a way to get out of this difficulty. You have something real to offer, and you can demand something real in return, no matter how bad it looks for you. And I'm not saying you should settle either, even in this situation, just that the option will always, almost certainly be open to you. Now let's consider settlement as victory. Of course, if you show that the debt collector probably or almost certainly cannot win at trial, or that there's no way they can collect, but that you intend to fight to the bitter end, and especially if you have a counterclaim which prevents the debt collector from simply dismissing your case without prejudice, then you will be in the position to settle your case as a victory. If you can beat them, you magnify their concerns I mentioned above and also present them with the possibility of owing you money at the end of the day. They hate that. If you don't have a counterclaim, they'll often simply dismiss the case on the day of trial or the day before. That leaves you anxious for longer than necessary and leaves open the possibility of them selling the debt to someone who will sue you or of them filing suit again. If you have a counterclaim, they can't do that, and you can force them to dismiss with prejudice, which means that the debt is dead and gone, no more credit report damage, no more harassment. If you got them seriously dead to rights on both their claim and yours, you may be able to make them pay you something. Obviously, getting a summary judgment would really help in that regard, of course. Most often, though, your settlement will be mutual dismissal with prejudice. That is, both sides agree to drop the suit forever. I call that a victory for the consumer. It should be clear from this discussion that you never need to tell a judge you would never settle. Instead, you can very cheerfully accept any invitation to discuss settlement at any time on the terms that would be acceptable to you. The further along in the litigation you are, the more favorable those terms are likely to be. And so it generally makes sense to fight for a while at the beginning of the suit before seriously considering settlement. Protect what's yours and don't let the debt collectors rip you off. My site and materials can help. Go to yourlegallagup.com. Get my litigation manual and forums, or get the videos and defend yourself. You'll be glad that you did. You may not consider this video or anything I say in this or any video as legal advice. I cannot give you legal advice, but as a former lawyer I do know the legal process and debt law very well. So use what I say as a source of information and apply your own judgment to your case. To get more help on fighting debt collectors and their lawsuits, go to yourlegallagup.com. Get my litigation manual and forums. If you appreciate this video, please take a second and like it, subscribe, and friend me, as these things will help others find my videos and begin to learn more about the debt litigation process. Defend yourself from the debt collectors on Facebook or YouTube, as these things help others find my videos and begin to learn more about the debt litigation process. Defend yourself from the debt collectors.